Hey there, Fletch from All Things Overlanding here. On today's gear review, I'm going to be talking about the EDEUOEY I'm going to be talking about this tiny table. It's a little, I don't know, it might be difficult to say the name. I actually have no idea how to say the name, but I don't care. It's a cool little table. I was pleasantly surprised with it. So I just picked this up pretty recently, and as you can see from the size of it, what I like the most is it is tiny. So it's about the size of my forearm, right? So pretty small little table. Perfect though for quick setup, small footprint camping. If you haven't seen it, I'll put a link up here to my my portal table review, which is a much larger table. But the bag for it is probably about 2.5 times as long as this, and it's probably about 50% thicker than this is too. So I didn't even actually bring it on this trip because I don't have like big cooking plans. I don't need a ton of room for like gear or anything like that. It's just kind of a quick trip. So I'm going to use this little tiny table. I'm going to show you how to set it up. So let's take a look. All Things Overlanding is brought to you by Red Arc, Power Management Solutions, Rugged Bound Supply Company, rooftop tents, awnings, roof racks, and more. Overland Addict, premium overland gear. Last US Bag, overlanding bags and equipment. Northology Overland, trips and a monthly overlanding magazine. All of these companies are really amazing, so I highly recommend you click through the links in the description below to learn more about each of them. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you this thing really quick. So, you know, as you can see here, it's called the folding small table. I don't know if that's what it's called, but it sounds right. Basically, it comes in two parts, and what I like about this is similar, I'll show you here, similar to my big portal table, if you can see in there, there's a separator, which I like, because then it keeps everything from, you know, smashing together, rubbing together, from you causing damage to your tabletop or scratching up your tabletop with, you know, the legs of the table, which is really cool. But so basically you pull this out, and I will say, I'm going to show you this here in a second. At first I was very, very confused because, you know, it does not come with any instructions, so I was not sure exactly how this thing went together. So you get, you know, obviously this is the tabletop, right? So that made sense to me. It is on like, sort of like bungee cord material, so I was like, oh, that's cool, but how am I going to keep it from stretching, right? If I try and put something on it, it's not a rigid base to set stuff on, right? And with these poles, or with these, you know, this base, you can kind of tell, right? It's got 4 sides, but then it has these little pieces that like hang loose. And I was like, what the heck are these? Is this broken? Like I was almost about to call and just say like, or email them and be like, hey, you guys, the table I got was broken. But I figured it out. And let me show you how it works. So basically, you pull this out, and then these flip up over the top, and they will sit down in there. So oh, this one's caught. That's why it's catching. So each one pulls up, and then it just kind of just slides down in that channel. And then that's what gives it the rigidity. So see, it's actually pretty super simple. So again, if you've gotten this table and you're like, yeah, you idiot, that's how it works, my bad. So once you get that set up though, then you've got your tabletop, right? And again, at first I was like, okay, how's this gonna work? Well, there are these little notches on the top of the table. And basically what you do is you simply place those, the little piece here into those notches. Now, one thing to be aware of is, so now that you have gotten your crossbars up, right, you want your slats to lay on the crossbar. So you don't want them to go this way because they'll sag. So you want them to go so that they lay on the crossbars. So now that you know that, that tells you the direction that it needs to sit. So it needs to sit this way so that it is across the crossbars, right? So one other thing to mention here is, as you can see down in there, there is sort of a little knob. That's important. There's also, in this bar, a little hole. That hole goes on that knob, and that's what keeps it from opening more than it should. So once you get that down in there, you just line it up, and you'll feel it go click. And it should click down in there, and it should sit pretty much flush. So see how that sits down in the channel now? It's not sticking up. And then you'll do the exact same thing on the other side, right? So see how right now it's kind of sticking up? You line it up, boom, you click it, and it goes down in like that. Now you know that your base is set. So once you know that, and it's set up, then you know it's not going to slide on you, right? So then again, slats are going to lay on this flat piece. So we're gonna go this way. And then basically all that you have to do is line up this little bump, the very end of the table here, this rounded one inside of it with the channel. So line that up, boom, click it in there. You'll kind of feel it click, right? And you do the same thing on the other end. Find your little channel, boom, click it in, just like that, just like that. I'm not even looking at it. And there you have it. You have a table. It sits on this metal piece, so it actually turns out to be pretty stable. Like again, when I first did it, I was like, oh man, how am I going to make this work? If it's flexing the whole time, then it's not going to work. So one thing to be aware of is that this is a pretty small table, right? It's pretty short, maybe about a foot tall. It's maybe a little over a foot across each way, kind of rectangular, maybe a little longer, long ways on the slats. So if you just need something, literally, what I'm going to use it for is to sit it next to my chair. If you need something to sit next to your chair, this is perfect. If you're trying to prepare food or, you know, use it for anything besides just setting like a drink on or a book or something when you're at camp, this is going to be a little small for you probably. However, I really like this little table. I like how small it is. Again, I'm keeping it in my rooftop box, so it's out of the way, but I've got it if I need it at camp. It doesn't take up any room in my rig. And again, for how little it is and how easy it is to set up once you figure it out, it's a really nice little table. So just to give you a kind of a sense of scale and how small this thing is, that's my little G4 free chair. And then it just goes right next to it. So again, for setting like a book on it, setting a cell phone charger, watch charger, drink, food, that kind of stuff, eating dinner, it's perfect for, you know, something like that. All right, so that was the EDEUOEY folding table. Again, if you're looking for a small table, something just to set next to your camp chair that doesn't take up a lot of room in your rig or in your storage, this is a great option. Definitely recommend that you check it out. There's a link in the description down below to the table. There's a little bit of a description down there too to give you more information about it, the size, the width, all that sort of stuff. So I hope that's helpful for you. If it is, click that like button. And if you're interested in seeing more content, I put out a couple of videos every week about overlanding, about gear reviews, about vehicle modifications, all kinds of stuff. So if you are interested in that stuff, make sure to click that subscribe button, click the bell to be notified when new videos drop. I'd love to have you and hear from you in the comments. Also, there are links to Facebook, Instagram, my podcast. So again, any of those channels where you hang out, I'd love to have you come join the conversation. There is also a link to my store down there where you can buy overlanding patches and stickers. So if you're into that stuff, you should check that out as well. But until next time, I hope that was helpful for you. I hope that gave you some good information about this table, and we'll see you next time. Take care.